Hello, everyone, and welcome to whatever episode this is in the DreamWeavers podcast. Just welcome to the DreamWeavers podcast. Song and I are just having this conversation, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get that out there for people because I don't think this is talked about enough. And when I talk about it, Song, in a lot of my circles, I'm the crazy lady, and I'm okay with it. It's kind of fun. I have a little bit of fun with it. Um, but I just don't think it's talked about enough. And so, folks, what we were talking about is insurance raising rates in areas before natural disasters, catastrophes happen. Hmm.
Quotation
Hmm.
marks, natural disasters. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Song.
oh,
Wherever you
let's,
want to begin.
yeah, I just got to rewind. So I was talking about going into a session and I saw a great sadness. And this session was probably 4 years ago. And the great sadness was me walking around and seeing the earth shifted in my local area. And we started on this conversation because I had an earthquake here. There's an earthquake on May 9th at 9:05, and it was 9 kilometers deep. So
And
that's
by the
so
way, where are
significant.
you again, Song?
Out in Radway, Alberta,
Thank you.
there are no earthquakes here. We're not near anything like that. But Shell Canada admitted that they were the ones responsible for the earthquakes because of the CO2 capture. So the carbon capture program, they are now using old oil wells. And I noticed that in our county, they're coming in and they're shutting down some of the oil wells. And so the county's going to lose revenue over the oil wells. So yay, they're closing down for those people who are anti-oil and stuff like that. But they're now going to use those spaces for the carbon capture program. And Shell Canada has admitted that because they are pumping the CO2 into the ground where it isn't supposed to be, it's causing the earth to shake. Now, the vision that I had 4 years ago during a session was that the ground was tremored, but I also saw a laser coming down from the clouds, just coming down, hitting the ground and starting trees on fire, which unfortunately was just north of my place. It's not very far north. I could look out my front window and see the location where I saw this laser coming down in the sky. But that reminds me that I didn't know anything about the lasers at the time. I didn't know that there were the dew coming down and starting things. Dew. Did you know what that is? Direct energy weapons. That's why there was a whole big spoof out there about Mountain Dew, because the direct energy weapons were coming down and starting things on fire. And I said,
This is what we started to talk about some of yesterday as well.
yeah.
When I
So
said, hold, pause.
had to
Well, now
rewind.
here we are. Okay, keep going.
So at the time of my session, I had no idea that there was anything out there like that. And then Hawaii and California, the burning of those places, like California is a big spot. I don't know where the fires happened, but then you
LA.
saw that there were pictures coming out where there was laser beam coming down and lighting certain things on fire and leaving the trees. That's why some houses were painted blue. I believe Oprah's house had a blue roof, whereas the other houses with red roofs were all burned. I could be wrong on the colors. I'm not exactly sure. But so before, and now that everything is done, everybody is looking back on things. The insurance companies started to increase their prices for insurance. And they raised them so much that the people couldn't afford insurance on their houses and their land. So they started canceling those policies, saying, nope, not going to do it. It's too much. I can't do it. Well, so many people canceled their policies, and then the laser came down, lit everything on fire. And of course, those people who couldn't afford the insurance now cannot afford to rebuild, so they have to sell their property. And who purchased all that property? I don't know, but it wasn't them. And it wasn't anybody that lived
A
there.
corporation.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
And now, here in the area that I live in, I've seen in our community Facebook posts that the insurance companies are costing too much. People are saying, I am going to roll the dice. I can't afford the insurance anymore. So this little parcel of land that they live on is not going to have insurance for when a fire comes through. Fire, yeah. Or a natural disaster. That's not a
Okay.
conspiracy. It's been proven. It's like there's information out there showing these chain of events that are happening.
Oh, I say this all the time. I believe you. I do not believe you. I believe in a lot of things. I just don't know. Me, I don't know. I think, yeah, I believe that to be a true story. Um, okay, so wait, I want to go back to this carbon capture thing though. I didn't fully understand that. Help me
Oh,
understand. So they're taking wells and so oil wells and they're drying them up. Why?
they're just finished. The oil wells are finished. So
Oh, they're
now,
already finished. They've
yeah,
already tapped them dry. Okay.
supposedly. I don't know if they did or not. They're just saying we're closing the well down, we're going to shut it down. But before they shut it down, and this, I don't have proof of this, but I did watch a TV show called FBI Most Wanted. And in their 2025, possibly 26 series, they show this exact thing where the carbon capture program is just started somewhere in the United States. And I don't remember off the top of my head where, and they're taking the CO2 and they're dropping it into the old oil wells. And I was like, what? Holy shit. I was just thinking that that's what they were doing.
Why are they
Not that
dropping
they're not.
CO2 into the old oil wells?
In the TV show, they were using it instead of water to frack. They were using it as pressure to push everything so that the oil comes to the surface or the fuel or whatever it is that they're extracting. Mm-hmm. So I thought initially the earthquakes around here were happening because there are test holes being drilled down. And 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, no, it's got to be 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, there was a crew coming around this area and the other county that's to the south of us, and they were doing imaging. So they would have to drill a hole down to find cavities. So what they're doing is looking for large cavities in the ground, and then they're going to fill those large cavities with the carbon capture that the new factories are somehow they are taking the exhaust from the big factories and they're making it into a liquid CO2. I do not know that process. I don't know how they're doing that process. I'm still looking into that, but they're making it into a liquid. Once they make it into a liquid, they can then pump the liquid down into those large cavities. The problem that Shell Canada has admitted was that they were pumping it down too fast. So if you think of a container and you have a hole on the top and then you pump the water down, well, it moves and it's not necessarily water. So they were pumping it down too fast, causing too
The
much.
slosh effect.
Right. So the carbon capture program is not new. It's been around
To what
since
end?
'12.
Why are they trying to capture all this carbon? To what end? Why?
Because the fucking environmentalist people say that there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. We need carbon in order to survive. We are carbon. We need all of this. We have tree. If we stop taking down the trees, they are our lungs. They are our filter. So
So they're holding on to it because soon there's not going to be enough carbon in the atmosphere.
uh, that's not true.
Is that what you're? Oh, okay. So then
There's a
maybe I'm misunderstanding.
there is a lot. It's the agenda, the 2030 agenda, that we have to depopulate, that we have to get rid of a whole bunch of people. And by doing that, you make them environmental activists, and then they fight against each other. And then they make sure that everybody is following and complying all these little rules and stuff that they implemented. It's a cyclical cycle. It's kind of a sick cycle where the environment is going through its own cycle of stuff. Humans are a parasite on the earth, yes, but nothing that we're doing is going to create a catalysmic affair like what is naturally happening. This is a normal cycle for the earth. Normal
Mm.
cycle to reset, to just shift. The pole is
I
shifted,
so I do agree that this is part of the normal cycle of Earth because Gaia is awakening. This is what she's going through as she is awakening. I think as humans are, I agree with you again that we are parasites to this poor beauty. Um, we're speeding the process up because she's having to. I look at it from the analogy of like a dog with, that's just infested with fleas and ticks, and how they're constantly shaking, trying to get the relief. That's kind of what Gaia does is, the earth just kind of shakes because she's like, God dang it, knock that dumb shit off. It itches and it's bothering me. Stop it already. You know, Not to mention, of course, there's some, blood, certain minerals and, like ticks and fleas are sucking the life force, the blood out of an animal. It's the same thing. We are slowly but surely siphoning some life force out of the earth as well. No?
I don't know. Because I think about the amount of land on the earth compared to the amount of water.
Hmm.
How could the amount of land on the earth have more of an impact than the water? That'd be like our skin compared to the spleen or the liver for size difference. Like your skin
No,
is the whole
no,
water,
because all the land is what holds the life that helps breathe and do it. Yes, there's a
but
lot
is
of
it?
life in the water as well.
Yeah.
But if you kind of look at it, it's they go together. I hear what you're saying. Hmm,
Points to ponder.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for asking me about your question about everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This was amazing. Thank you. Okay, everybody out there, thank you to A Moment with Song and Ronnie. That's what we're gonna call these. We're just
I'm
gonna
sure
call
we'll
them
get some
moments.
comments or questions, and then we'll have another. We'll just gather a whole bunch of questions and then come back again.
That's
What do you
perfect.
think of
Yeah.
that?
I love
Okay.
that idea. Let's do it. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a
Bye.
great rest of your day.